reading words from a book while you describing it to them.
I don't do readings for other people anymore.
Yeah,
Just my dog. Yeah, I don't.
I don't.
They were too
I don't do
accurate.
readings for people either.
They were too
Not with the deck.
accurate.
Yeah.
In fact, the oddest story I had doing tarot. I had a stranger wanted me to prove that tarot was real, and I was fairly new at it, so I didn't realize how that might have some circumstances around it.
Hmm.
Her reading was too accurate. I found out about his ex that he had witnessed dying and all kinds of stuff. Scared the shit out of him. Scared me too, because I was like, hey man, I don't know why I'm hearing all this. But I was fairly, this was a long time ago. My only concern about what you're talking about as far as the energy transferring and clearing it, that's more of a, I'm giving you an item that I have handled, that I have, that I'm transferring to you. What I'm going to be producing, I'm actually painting the tarot deck, but which means it will have my energy because I've created it, right? It has my vision and how I'm seeing the cards and stuff, but it's going to be mass produced to a certain extent where it's going to be printed somewhere and printed or shipped to them, and I won't ever, I won't see any of that process. So,
Right. Okay. So before you send it to be mass produced, then you have to spread all your cards out and face them up and under the full moon, and order your energy to remove itself from the cards. You are the author of that. So, and then you explain while you looking at the deck, you looking over them. You got to explain to your energy what you don't want them to do, and or
okay.
they're gonna do it automatically.
Now, see, I'd already thought about that. The deck itself is melanated people, and I was concerned about that being something that would be a target for some people. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
I mean,
Most of the
that's
people,
extreme.
that deal with tarot decks is really good people.
Yeah,
Most of them,
yeah,
yeah, most of them not in it for the BS.
yeah. Most of
I wouldn't
yeah, I would
worry
say
too
most.
much about that part. I would, before I send it out to be mass produced, I would give my energy instructions to separate from the results of the card
Okay,
readings
okay.
and any of the magic done with the cards.
Yes,
But you want to do it under now. Why I tell you to put it under the moonlight? Do you know?
uh, I haven't done too much moon magic. Some of it backfired on me, so I don't really mess with it.
You know
So
tarot
yeah.
is moon magic, right?
Hmm.
Tarot is moon magic. It's
Um,
100% moon magic. It's derived from
I'm not
moon magic.
disagreeing. I'm just saying that I don't. I
Listen,
never
listen,
really.
listen what I'm
Okay.
explaining to you.
Okay.
Tarot cards are moon magic. This the feminine silver cord energy that's called the silver key, the lunar key, the key to the magic of the moon, which governs the night life, and the night light becomes the moon. The moon is the light that illuminates the darkness in the mind of the oracle. This is why they all pay homage to the moon with the crescent on their head. And the crescent takes many positions based off the user's energy field. The tarot was written by Tahuti in its origin, or Thoth. And the purpose of the tarot was to train the psychic to see in the darkness of their mind, using the training of the tarot in order to illuminate the darkness to tell you what it sees in the images. The reflection of the solar light, which comes from the sun magic, which is astrology, astronomy. What's your astrological sign? Now you're using the sun to reflect the moon magic. But all of the magic in the tarot card is infused from moon magic ritual rites of the oracles of the earth. It was designed to train oracles to be able to not need the cards no more. That's why it was originally created. In order for you to have a language that you can translate the unknown into the known before the actual event or in the real time of the event. Sometimes you do a tarot spread that's more impressive that the person know what's going on in their life right now than it is in 5 years. But in another tarot spread, it's more pressing that they know what they need to do now to be prepared for this event that's to come in about 5 years. So when they read the card, the tarot reader reading comes out and you'll know the time frame from what it is referring to. What's their tower moment, right? Do their tower moment seem such a far away because he's only beginning his journey as the fool? Or do it look like it's materialized and mature as he sits up on his throne as the emperor, right? So you're reading the energy. Each energy comes with symbols and signs. The symbolism that you use to infuse a new deck that you create is your subconscious instructions on how to train your future trainees in the art of reading their subconscious mind, and you use the art in your cards as the tool for the training. But what you don't want is the bad kids that's breaking into the school that's trying to be funny using the dark arts to use your energy, your creation, because you concerned about the karmic backlash. When you put it under the moon and you instructed not to participate in the shenanigans, then when people try to use it to do what's wrong with it, it's going to force them to do something right. Because you took your energy off of it and it has to have balance. They
And
have
it's
to
gonna
charge it.
boomerang.
Yeah. So that's
Wow,
why
you,
I was asking you if you knew what kind of magic tarot was, because it's absolutely moon magic.
I had no idea that. I mean, I always thought that they were, a lot of the tarot decks do a lot of Hecate, homage and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they use the moon, of course. But when I picked up tarot, I was trying to figure out why I was able to read energy so well. And when I would tell people certain things, they didn't believe me. But if I lay down a card, then they believe me. Does that make sense?
It's used
A
for
lot of times I
too.
didn't need those cards.
Yeah,
Huh?
that was the second level of tarot reading. That you really don't need them, but
Hmm.
you use them for the person who don't understand what you're doing to have something as a frame of reference.
Right.
So now they say that you interpreting the cards, or you're not interpreting the cards, you interpreting the
Energy.
energy. You use
You taught me
you
so much
yeah.
here.
So now you use it as a tool. That's the magician's wand. It's a second phase. But once you get to your where you can communicate so clearly with a person that the communication prints the card in their mind, that's when you don't need the cards no more.
But see, what you told me today, just with that kind of, you know how like you'll hear something and it puts things that you were kind of had question marks and it kind of lines all up.
Yeah.
That explains a lot of the activity on the airwaves in the last couple years. I stopped reading tarot and it was coming in whether I was going to read the tarot or not, I think.
Yeah. So so you're reading the tarot, you're going through the three stages. The first stage is learning how to interpret the energy, right? That's the first level of it. Because you're looking at the card, you don't know what it means, you don't know what it feel like, but you got to figure out, how do I tune into this card in order for me to know when I see this energy what it is?
Right.
Because it's gonna play out in real life, but now you got to translate. You have to flip your tarot lens into the world. You're not gonna learn that before you learn how to interpret the energy of the card. Now
Right.
that you know how to interpret the energy, you go into what's called phase two, which is the practice phase. The practice phase is you need to build a language stock of communication techniques where you don't need the card for the other person to understand when you're reading the energy that you accurate. They need the magician to have the wand, but the magician can wield the magic with or without the wand.
Right.
Now, if you catch the magician away from his magical supplies and he have no wand, he can still do the magic. Now, in the class 2 of tarot reading and using it as the wand, as the tool, right, is to train you as a maestro to and conduct the orchestra of the energy. Now you're going to make the song every time you translate for a different person. That's a different song. Now you being maestro with the wands. The wands is the cards. The people fixated on the wands, just listening in the back of their mind for the music. But it don't come from the back of their mind. You spew it out as the translation to the cards. This is training the reader how to communicate with so many different types of people in translations of the energy that eventually you'll be to talk to so many people about the cards that you could see the card in your head without ever holding the deck and explain to them the energy so clearly that it's like you reading it right out of their book of life, because that's where it's coming from. But you have to teach yourself. Now, once you get to the point where you can communicate with so many different people, you can explain the energy that you're reading in the common language so clear that they can almost see their life playing out in the words you speaking, translating their energy back to them. Now you can do it without the cards. It's about building that communication between the listener and the speaker is the reader, right? Now, children love to be read to naturally. People
Tarot?
read books,
Oh, okay.
read, right? Children, and they done that too. We call it ABC cards. Just still tarot read,
Right.
right? But they love to be read to because it's the human nature of exchange of information from parent to child. The child loves to hear the parents read. They love to hear the parents speak, right? They drawing out of the child all of the energy that is the parent in the child by that communication, because humans learn from other humans. The first teacher is the mother. The second teacher is the father. The mother teaches him about life. The father teaches him how to navigate that map mama just gave him. So once you get to your levels of communication, you realize that humans exchanging information, when you're doing tarot reading, you're actually reading a book to a child in adult form. And it's their book coming from their life. You open in their book of life because you're reading their energy and you're going through what's in this chapter for you, what's on this page for you, what's 3 pages in on this chapter. That's what you read. It's the reflection of their book of life that's written in who they are, like binary codes on the matrix. You using the cards as the lens, because once you get to the point where you can read without the cards, you can see the streamer.
Didn't you say that the Book of Life is like what they call the Akashic records or whatever?
Yeah, that's the eternal records of everything in existence, and each person comes in with their own book of life. They book of life tell them every single micro step of what they're going to do. It just seems stretched out because it's holographic in nature. That means every single part have the full collection of the whole, and the whole is a reflection of every single part. It's holographic, right? It's 3-dimensional fixed position holographic memory. The fixed position aspect of 3-dimensional reality is the density of matter. The density of matter is what lets you know that you're going to have to stop at the chair instead of walk through the chair, because you can do both. But you want to follow the rules of the dimension in that you're in order to create harmony and balance in the world around you. So you follow the 3D rules. When the chair comes, you stub my toe, right? Because you need to feel. You need to feel, because in fourth dimension mind matrix, you just information. In 3D, you need to feel, because you're an emotional creature. Your emotions is your navigation system. Once you learn to read your emotions get to tell you when to turn left, when to turn right, and that's what they call your instinct. It's keen instinct, divine keen instinct. And this is why when the devil set traps for you, the Lord leads you around them. That's your mama's spirit, because she's floating you through the matrix. The matrix is the mother womb of creation. That's why it's called matrix. Matrix mean womb. And when you research and locate the matrix, it's in something called a mitochondria. And it's all holographic in nature. It's telescopic. Zoom in, zoom out. And that's the training of the psychic mind to operate in the 3D as an intellectual and emotional being. In balance allows you to see clearest throughout the planes. And when you say planes, you're talking about when you look out your window and you see what look like depth. That's the plane of depth. It's laws of physics that govern how you perceive your depth, right? Just like height. Height is depth going up, right? But down is nowhere. Down is right where your feet stop, because you got the law of density telling you that in order to have something called down, you need a base. A base means a fixed position. So this is what you call foundation of the construction, right? So you build the man from the feet up, right? The feet is learning to walk. You got to learn how to walk before he can learn how to run. So as you build, this is building the Temple of Solomon, aka the Temple of Man. The development of the child is the building blocks of the temple, using the psychic energy to bring fourth dimension into 3D, bringing fifth dimension into 2 dimensions in order for the fifth dimension to manifest 3D. We following the steps, and it's all read in the streamer, and the psychic readers is the readers of the ticker, and it's tied to every individual. You can read his part, right? But while you reading his part, you can't tell him nobody else's part unless it's in his part. And this is how your tarot reading becomes accurate, because you can only see and read within a field or a prism of that individual. In his macabre, that upward and downward pyramid that looked like a 6-point star, right? Metatron's cube of the energy. You can only read what's in that field. So if it doesn't cross that field, it doesn't translate into energy in the accurate tarot reader's translation. They can see each one of the light rays as it breaks through the prism into its own source of light. So now you can say, I got 7 interactions breaking into your matrix. I mean, you got 7 people dealing with your energy field that's translating right now, right? So now you tell them, okay, well, this one is red, yellow, blue, green, but whatever the 7 spectrum is color-wise, based on how it feels, they is in relation to them. And now you got a card that mirrors each one of the energies. And as the tarot reader, the card that comes up that your subconscious stack, matching everything up. When you flip it, now you got the card that's reflecting the energy that's coming from this person's prism of light that's telling you his life story. That's the Akashic record. That's the fabric, creative fabric that is reading the streamers in the matrix and the book of life of each individual is all tied together by unified field theory. I ain't mean to go that far, but
Okay, so all right. All right, so that was a lot. It kind of it's making me see things a little differently in the sense where, okay, when I did used to read tarot, I approach tarot differently. I approach it like I do everything else in life, in the sense where I don't care what my bank account might say right now, but it's going to have this in this many hours. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
Now, some people call that crazy, but I have proven over and over and over and over again I can do that shit. All
You a
right. So I
McDollar.
know, huh?
You a McDollar.
I'm
A
a what?
McDollar.
A McDollar?
Yeah. It's a priestess. It's a certain type of priestess, as in Mary of Magdalene, Mary of Magdala. She was a priestess from a priestess order, and it's your job is to use mandalas to write the future by how y'all feel
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
for in order to tie everybody's creative potential into the new reality that's being created.
Okay, so if I'm approaching, like you said, the unified field, as far as I'm concerned, if you're, say you're looking at this hologram or whatever, oh, you can't even see my hands. I can't see you, you can't see me, but all right, so if you put your hands like you're holding an energy ball, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna pull a little thread right in there and bring whatever I want to me. Okay? I know other people don't see the world that way, and it can get real crazy and can get real hectic. But when I was reading tarot, one of the reasons why I stopped reading tarot as I was getting way too much information off of people I didn't want to know. Right?
Trust me, I understand. The more
And
than you
half
know.
of it, they would just be like, I can't believe you